My name is Mariana Iteva, and I'm the Deputy Country Director for Veolia in Bulgaria. I'd like to thank first Energynomics and Gabriel for getting in touch with me to talk about the solutions that our company can offer, because we were talking mostly about gas now, but I would like to talk more widely about resource efficiency, which covers the three main areas in which our company develops solutions: energy, water, and waste management. And I would like to give you some practical examples from Bulgaria, from Central and Eastern Europe, and from elsewhere in the world, where we are partnering with municipal, industrial clients, different commercial clients, to help them be more energy efficient, be more operationally efficient, and be more ecological. So just first of all, a quick introduction. Veolia has a 170 years history. It started in 1853, when Emperor Napoleon III issued a decree with which Veolia started supplying, it was then called Compagnie Générale des Eaux, and it was supplying water to citizens in Paris area. Since then, the company has evolved a lot, and now we operate and provide services focused on our mission, which is resourcing the world, which means that we are aiming to protect, to reuse, and to replenish the limited natural resources, water, energy, using the principles of the circular economy to turn the waste into secondary raw material. So our corporate purpose is ecological transformation, which encompasses all these solutions that we have deployed in many countries of the world. In Bulgaria, we are present since 2006. We started with an energy business in Varna, a small district heating company with about 15,000 customers. I mean, small compared to Sofia and Plovdiv, but one of the most efficient district heating companies in Bulgaria. We are also 100% at the moment dependent on Russian gas, or natural gas for cogeneration of electricity and heating, and we are really suffering big losses right now because of these businesses I was playing to Gabriel and our Romanian colleagues yesterday is regulated at the government level in Bulgaria, so water, energy prices, gas and electricity, heating prices are all regulated by a state regulator. And they determined actually and fix the price of gas, which we can include in our pricing formula. So at the moment, the difference is for us, especially, is 200 level, which is roughly 100 euro per megawatt hour. We pay more than what we've been given by the regulator starting 1st of August this year. So it's a pretty recent price. So if we continue like that, we will not be able to operate. The heating season will start at the end of October. But, you know, we do everything possible to be efficient, but there is a threshold where, you know, you can't, or a bottom line where you can't go below, and you either get some subsidies from the EU or from the government, or you close down the business with all the social implications. So we have about 1,300 employees in Bulgaria, just as a comparison with Romania, where we're also present with water concession contract in Bucharest since the same time year 2000, as we are present in Sofia, so almost in parallel. And but the business in Romania is about twice the size of that in Bulgaria. But of course, it's a bigger country as well. And until recently, we had an energy business focused on district heating network in Romania too. Main contracts in Sofia and in Varna, but we have smaller contracts everywhere in the country. So we talked a lot about some global challenges that are happening today, several crises that are happening simultaneously. All of us familiar with these. I've just listed them to remind you. I mean, in a way, the first one is really one of the strategic, the most important ones, because even there are some political analysis that the war in Ukraine was started because of the fossil fuels, use and all this restriction of the use of fossil fuels, which is driven by the climate change policies that we as humanity will have to undertake unless if we want our planet to survive. So biodiversity loss, water scarcity, which usually translates into floods and droughts. You've seen what's happening in Europe this summer with droughts everywhere. The economic crisis, energy crisis with the soaring energy prices, the geopolitical crisis, the war in Ukraine, and the ongoing health crisis with COVID-19 pandemic. So Veolia, we as a company, we have developed solutions, and we have solutions which are in the process of being developed, innovative solutions that can address most of these crises, help our clients survive through the turbulence of these high energy prices, to make sure that their business activities are environmentally efficient and friendly, because of the strengthening regulation at European level, but also at country level in both Bulgaria and Romania as well. So I just we'll go through some selected references. We'll start with the digital example because we firmly believe that digitalization is here to really enhance and accelerate this green transition. This is a new solution that we have developed. It's called HubGrade. It's a trademark by Veolia. So what is a HubGrade? It's aimed to achieve operational and environmental efficiency and reducing the CO2 impact and footprint of our clients, whether they are municipal clients or industrial clients, or even commercial clients like hospitals, shopping malls, airports. This is a combination of the human expertise that we have in Veolia, which is based on years of operating of similar facilities, whether they are water facilities, wastewater treatment plants, or energy, boiler rooms, or energy producing facilities, or waste treatment facilities. And they combine with this digital power to make sure that we achieve this efficiency. Now the focus is on energy efficiency, so we guarantee between 5 to 25, but this is kind of conservative approach. It depends on the facility of energy savings. And what we can do is from the design and build till the operation and maintenance, we cover the full cycle based on our operational expertise. And furthermore, we can also increase and improve the lifespan of the equipment, which is managed. So this is something that we are deploying now with clients. It's in high demands, especially in Central and Eastern Europe. And we are talking to shopping malls, to industrial production facilities to make sure that we can help them, because before talking about or looking into investing into renewable energy, it is very important that we focus on energy efficiency, because the cheapest energy is the one that is not consumed at the end of the day. Two examples from Bulgaria. Here in Sofia, the wastewater treatment plant, which until recently was the biggest on the Balkans, but now I think the Bucharest one is the largest, slightly largest, but it was built more recently, a few years ago, with EU funding in Bucharest. Here in Sofia, this was built in 1984 and upgraded through the years, now with 3 levels of treatment. And what Veolia did when we entered the company in 2010, we started. Back then, nobody was talking about energy crisis. I mean, there was some issue with the gas stoppage by Ukraine, if you remember, in 2009 in the winter. But we thought that we will focus on being energy efficient and energy self-sufficient, because the biggest consumer in one water company, this is the wastewater treatment plant. This is the biggest consumer of energy. So we invested in a cogeneration facility, and from the sludge, which is the waste produced from the treatment of the wastewater, we are able to capture the methane gas, biomethane, and we are producing heat and electricity. Which at the moment they are sufficient to cover all the 100% the needs of the wastewater treatment plant. So last year, for example, we produced 116%. So 100% was used to cover our needs for heating and for electricity, and the 16% we sold to the national grid. And thanks to this, the whole company, Sofia Water Company, is at the moment 85% energy self-sufficient. Our aim is in the next 3 to 4 years to become 100% energy self-sufficient, meaning that we'll be producing all the energy that we consume. And at the same time, we are looking at some smaller projects like PV, additional PV projects at our main treatment facilities. Also a small hydropower project at the main water treatment plant in Bistrica above the ring road. And with the help of all these projects, and also we have a separate project which is running in parallel to reduce gradually the consumption of electricity by the company, and this is done with the help of digitalization of the processes, automation, and also using more efficient equipment for the whole cycle, from the water abstraction to the discharge of the effluent. In Varna, where we operate a small district heating network company, we started a few years ago with a pilot project to show the government how the old blocks of flats which were built during communism from concrete, you have them in Romania as well, could be turned into very energy efficient buildings and consume less heating. We did what we financed the replacement of the heating pipes in these buildings. And some of these buildings, this project is still ongoing, from vertical, which is the old Soviet system, to horizontal. And we provided we built the pipes and put the heat meter at the entrance of each apartment, of each flat. And the only condition was that the owners of the apartments, they will install at least one radiator. So it didn't matter whether they will choose to put this in the living room or in the bedroom, but at least one. And this was done at their expense, so they covered this expense. In addition, we used insulation, so we managed to drop the losses of heat and the hot water supply to under 4%. These are the so-called common needs in Bulgaria, and these are losses which are due to the building network, whether it's a water supply, water pipes or the heating pipes. So we just showed to the government when the government started this program for insulation of all the residential buildings with EU funding. There were different stages. It's still ongoing project under the National Resilience and Recovery Plan for Bulgaria, is that they should have a look at not just the insulation from outside and changing the profiles, the plastic profiles of windows, but they should also look at the replacement of all the infrastructure inside, meaning the water pipes and also the heating pipes and the hot water pipes to reduce the losses. So we managed to save more than 380,000 megawatt hours per annum. With more than 1,000 tons of CO2 emissions on an annual basis. With the project of the wastewater treatment plant, we are saving more than 70,000 tons of CO2 every year thanks to this project. And I forgot to mention that in addition to that, we reuse the sludge, which is dried sludge for 18 months. We reuse it and we give it free of charge to agricultural land plots. We have certification by the Agricultural University in Plovdiv, which shows the benefits of using this sludge as a fertilizer to nourish the soil, because it doesn't contain any heavy metals. So we have to undergo all the certification process with the Ministry of Environment of Bulgaria. Elsewhere in Eastern Europe, in Volkswagen, in Poland, in Poznan, we have a very nice project. It's not very big, but Volkswagen liked it so much that they decided to replicate it in all their plants across the world. Yeah, this is a project which basically captures the excess heat from the equipment in the plant, and we put it into the district heating network, which we are operating in Poznan, and thus we supply free of charge with the zero CO2 emissions. We supply heating to 30 buildings which are nearby. For Pech in Hungary, this is the first plant that we have, which is 100% thermal power plant for the city of Pech, using biomass. And this is straw, and it's straw which is supplied locally, because the surroundings of Pech, they have a lot of farms where, you know, we can buy straw from the local producers, thus helping them financially as well. With Renault Nissan in Morocco, this is the first zero carbon but also zero liquid discharge plant in the world. This is an automotive plant, and Renault asked us to make it more efficient. We managed with our technology and our operational know-how to reduce the losses of the heat by 35% in the first year. And we are reusing the wastewater, so no discharge in the environment. We reuse the wastewater for technological process inside the plant, so we turned it into a very, very efficient and green plant. In the Sheffield, in the UK, this is an innovation. I mean, it's a waste-to-energy project, but we also have here a pilot project which is for carbon capture and storage utilization. Gabriel mentioned the cooperation, not just between countries, but between companies. Here we are partnering with a company, UK company called Carbon Clean, and we capture this CO2 and use it to provide heat and gas supply to some municipal buildings in the city of Sheffield. Another CO2 carbon capture project in Portugal, and another one in India. They're all pilot projects. We started them last year, the one in India this year. And these are projects, the first one in Portugal, basically on the basis of the captured CO2 emissions from the municipal waste facility with the greater Porto area, we produce synthetic e-fuels for the aviation industry. And we are quite advanced, again, here partnering with another company called P2X Europe. In Tata Steel, their big plant in India, we are partnering again with the Carbon Clean and the government of India, and we are recapturing 5 tons of CO2 every day, to make sure that we reuse it and supply this CO2, which is depleted, in the gas network of the plant, and with a higher calorific value. So plastic recycling and electric vehicle batteries recycling are 2 other topics where we are focusing on the plastic recycling. It's one of our main objectives of our net zero target. We are aiming to double the quantity of plastic that we recycle around the world by 2023. And we are producing secondary raw material, which is the same quality as the virgin material, but uses 70% less CO2 emissions on that. For the EV batteries, we are cooperating with Renault and Solvay, and this is in a closed loop. We recover all these precious metals, copper, cobalt, nickel, manganese, aluminum, lithium, because most of them, they cannot be found within the European Union. They're usually in countries like Russia, Ukraine, all these not very normal countries to work in, and it's all done in a closed loop. And these materials, these metals, can be reused in a straightforward manner into new electric vehicle batteries. And the last topic is the wastewater reuse, with a few projects around the world. The one that is very interesting is the Czech Republic, where we're making beer from recycled wastewater. And I've tasted this beer, and you cannot guess at all. I mean, the taste is the same as the one from normal water, and this is thanks to our technology of a purified water. In France, we are working together with municipalities based on due to the drought this year. We are now deploying a large-scale program to reuse treated wastewater for irrigation to help farmers in France, helping also industrial companies like in Singapore and Hawaii, and in South Africa, in Namibia, we also provide this recycled wastewater we turn it into drinking water with the same quality as normal raw water taken from the environment. So with these projects, we show that it is possible to reuse these resources, which are limited in their availability in nature, and by reusing them, we're also keeping the environment very clean. So I exceeded a little bit my time, but thank you for this. I just wanted to show you that these solutions are working. We're putting them in practice. We're also looking at deploying the wastewater reuse in Bulgaria as well. We have a lot of interest from industrial companies that want to close the loop and to reuse the water, because they are paying a big amount of money for water licenses, for abstraction of water, and it's not so easy to get them these days if you're industrial company, due to drought issues in Bulgaria as well. So thank you, and if you have any questions, I'm available too.
Thank you very much, Mariana. Let's keep it there. Okay. And we will come back to maybe to some of those examples, because I'm very curious, what are the impediments, if any, in having such projects replicated in Bulgaria and Romania? What would be the first steps in trying to bring any of those ideas here? I will now give the floor to Cristian Athanasovici for his presentation representing Kawasaki. I will also make sure the presentation is available on the screen. Cristian, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Gabriel, for your invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation. I am happy to be here. My name is Cristian Athanasovici, and I represent a very famous brand of motorbikes, because everybody of us knows very well the motorbikes of Kawasaki. But beside motorbikes, Kawasaki is doing a lot of other things which could be very interesting for our real life, domestic life, industrial life of today. So, I'm coming from Kawasaki Gas Turbine Europe. It is a daughter company of Kawasaki Heavy Industries from Japan. And you can see here in this slide which are the main divisions of, main sections of Kawasaki Heavy Industries Japan. So we are doing the ships. By the way, this was the first product of Kawasaki in 1881. So it's quite old. Japan, it's a country which have not the raw materials, so they were obliged to import everything. For this reason, it was a certain Mr. Kawasaki which started to build ships to transport raw materials. We are doing rolling stock, we are doing aerospace. We have a big division for energy system and plant infrastructure. As I told you, motorcycles and precision machinery, robots. You can see our offices. So in Romania, we have a representative office for Kawasaki Gas Turbine Europe, established in 2018. Here you will see turnover of Kawasaki Heavy Industries for the fiscal year 2020, and you can see the share per each section. So our energy division or energy system plant engineering cover around 16% from the turnover of Kawasaki Heavy Industries. Short history of Kawasaki Gas Turbine Europe. Kawasaki came in Europe in 1975. In 2003, they decided to make the facility production in Bad Homburg, near to Frankfurt Airport. In 2013, started the promotion of sales of gas turbines and gas engines. As I told you, 2018, established in India, representative of. So, Kawasaki Gas Turbine Europe is manufacturer of gas turbine and gas engines. Equipments which are used for energy production, equipments which are used for cogeneration systems. Let's have a short look of context in which we are doing the business as Kawasaki Europe and also Kawasaki Japan. So we have, I can tell you that we have three main pillars of EU today under which we are doing the business. First pillar means decarbonization. The second pillar means decentralization of energy production. And the third pillar is the digitalization. And maybe today, after the war which is between Ukraine, Russia, and the crisis of natural gas, I would like to add the fourth pillar, which will say less natural gas. But we will see if we can do it or not. So, you can see here the main products of Kawasaki Gas Turbine Europe. As I told you, we are producing gas turbines between 1.4 megawatt electricity and 44 megawatt electricity, and we are doing the gas engines. So both technology for cogeneration, but in fact different equipments. Besides this product, we are covering some services which start with the pre-feasibility study, feasibility study. We are coming to customize the solution according with the needs of each partner, no client, never clients, partner, always partners. And after we finished with a long-term service agreement, so we are happy to sell our equipment and solution, but we'll be more happy if we can have a long-term service agreement. Without having maintenance is nothing. All equipment, doesn't matter the brand. Some features for our gas turbines. I don't want to insist. What I would like to emphasize is that this equipment is very useful for the industrial sector, which is needed the steam. So today we are talking about less gas consumption, go to photovoltaics, go to wind, and so on. Keep in mind that the steam cannot be produced using only the electricity. If you have steam at high parameters in chemicals factory, in refineries, for example, you cannot do it only with electricity. Good. Some technical features for each type of gas turbine. I don't want to insist too much. Main features for our gas engines. In this moment, we have the highest electrical efficiency for gas engines all over the world. 51%. This kind of equipment is very useful for the peak demand of electricity, for electricity production only. Why? Usually the PVs and the wind and so on, they are working in a base load of electricity demand, but this type of equipment, which is using natural gas, can start in 5 minutes from cold phase. It's very useful to cover the peak demand. Some technical features for our gas engines. I will jump over. This graph is very interesting, and I would like to show you the main difference between two technologies of cogeneration, gas turbines and gas engines. Gabriel, can you help me with a light?
This one.
Ah, okay, thank you. So, we have gas turbine of 7.8 megawatt electricity and gas engine of 7.8 megawatt electricity. How much steam you can produce with both technology? For this reason, I would like to focus this aspect because it's very important, because define the market where are used the technologies. So, with the gas engine, I produce around 3 tons per hour of steam, and with my gas turbine, I can produce between 19 and 50 tons per hour of steam. This aspect of cogeneration defines the market of each technology. The main market of Kawasaki gas turbine Europe, pulp and paper industry, medicines, cosmetics, refineries, chemical plants, fertilizers plants. In all this is a big request of steam in the same time with electricity. But the request of steam is huge. I will give you an example. The Czech soda factory, which is producing the soda, needs around 300 tons per hour of steam. So think to this aspect and think how you will cover this need only with the electricity. District heating. Our equipment fits very well the district heating systems, and I can summarize that we have two main markets, industrial market and domestic market district heating. Some examples of application of our solutions. You can see here a project in Portugal, which is using 2 different gas turbines which deliver steam to industrial customers and electricity to the grid. And here it's a application of gas engines in Japan. You can see here the total output of the power plant, almost 110 megawatt electricity. Remember that I mentioned before, this type of equipment, gas engines, are very useful for peak demand of electricity. simple approach of the Japan project based on gas engines. So up to now I told you that Kawasaki is very good in them equipments based on natural gas. But I presented you the context of our business. So one of the pillars is decarbonization. For this reason, Kawasaki started few years ago, more precise in 2012, to think to hydrogen and to renewables. And to think also for distributed generation of energy. With the other words, do not use only the natural gas as fuel, to be more open to other type of fuels, and in the same time to be more close with our equipment to the client's needs, in order to avoid the losses for transmission and distribution, doesn't matter, electricity or heat. So, for this reason, Kawasaki developed so-called hydrogen roadmap. Today, hydrogen, you saw already that could be the main fuel in the future. How near or how long future, nobody knows today. We developed already several combustion chamber which can use same time natural gas and hydrogen. I remember you that if you want to burn something, you need the air, and in the air you have the nitrogen. So you have the emission of NOx. You have to do something with these emissions. For this reason, today we are ready with all our equipments to use maximum 30% hydrogen in a mixture with natural gas without having NOx reduction in so-called dry low emissions combustion chamber. But for the future, we are looking to have 100% hydrogen. We will have the nitrogen in the air, and we have to go with the NOx as low as possible. For this reason, our latest development is this type of combustor called micromix. So, the status of our equipment regarding usage of natural gas and hydrogen is the following. All our equipments are ready for 30%. But not only this, we are ready in the diffusion mode here, because diffusion mode, it's a kind of technical process to avoid the NOx or to reduce the NOx. We are ready also with parts of our gas turbines to go to 100% hydrogen. As I told you, Kawasaki was the first in the world which built up a CHP plant in Kobe using 100% hydrogen. You can see here a very short or schematic of the site of CHP in Kobe Harbor. They deliver the steam to some industrial clients. They deliver the hot water for district heating, and the electricity also to some industrial clients which are located in Kobe. As I told you, this is our development for hydrogen of our gas turbines, and will follow very soon also our gas engines. Everybody is looking today to hydrogen. We were lucky this year. We sold to RWE the first gas turbine of 44 megawatt electricity, which will be used 100% hydrogen. The RWE planned that somewhere in the middle of 2024 to go in a commercial operation with our gas turbine based on 100% hydrogen. I would like to finish my presentation and to show you the capability of Kawasaki brand. Look here, start from the production of hydrogen. We can have hydrogen from fertilizers plant. We are doing the membranes for electrolyzers. We have the installation of liquefaction. Because in Australia, we liquefy the coal, we extract the hydrogen from coal liquefaction, and together with this system, which is Kawasaki carbon capture, we are making the hydrogen and we export from Australia to Japan. Second step of our roadmap, it's so-called storage. We have equipments to store the hydrogen. So we liquefy the hydrogen at minus 253 degrees Celsius. The loss of temperature due to the ambient temperature is 1 Kelvin per day. Going further, transport. We developed a lot of carriers to transport the hydrogen from ships to trucks. Equipment used of hydrogen, valves, fuel cell train, boilers, gas turbines, gas boost compressors, gas engines. So this is a corporate technology synergy. In my opinion, if I'm coming back to cogeneration, because also this nice lady, Mrs. Mariana, told us about cogeneration of Veolia, in my opinion, this will be the future of cogeneration plants. To run in a mixture with other technologies which produce the electricity, like solar panels, like electrolyzers, which will produce the hydrogen as fuel, and they are using the electricity from solar panels, and so on. But take care, in the industrial, we need always, if we are going today in a mixture of natural gas with hydrogen, it's better to provide such kind of installation. Carbon capture storage or carbon storage and usage. So, I will close here my presentation, and if you have an energy project or a challenge, an energy challenge, we provide green energy solutions and efficient solutions. So, maybe our solutions will bring you in a reality and closer project in the near future. Thank you very much.
We will probably, I hope we will have enough time to enter into more details. I will hurry to give the floor to Mr. Emil Yankov, the second time guest in our conference dedicated to Bulgaria, this time in person here. It will take me maybe a few seconds to prepare the film and the presentation, but the floor is yours, Emil.
Thank you,
Good to have
Gabriel.
you here.
Dear representative from the Romanian embassy, dear representatives from the Bulgarian chambers and Romanian chamber, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thanks to Gabriel for inviting us for the second time, this time face-to-face in Bulgaria, and also thanks to Julian Popov for introducing us to Gabriel, to have the chance to share what we are doing and what is our vision for the next 20 years. So my name is Emil Yankov, and I'm the Business Development Manager of Trakia Economic Zone. Trakia Economic Zone is probably the biggest and the largest industrial project in Bulgaria. It's located in the center of Bulgaria, near the city of Plovdiv, and we are currently operating 60 industrial zones with more than 250 companies, most of them, of course, international, in different sectors, like automotive, machinery, robotics. We have some in semiconductor industry, and the turnover, the total investment is more than 3 billion euro. The project started like in 95. when the first after the socialist time investor came to our region. So they were looking for production facility for the cherry. It was Ferrero Rocher for cherries for Piedmont Kirchen. And at that time, our owners, they bought lots of land, a lot of plots, then combine them and make all the required infrastructure for such kind of facility. So they make this project successful. At that time, they started to think that it's a good business. There is a lot potential for the city like Plovdiv for this business. So step by step, they try and they acquire more and more land and prepare all the infrastructure, which is very important for this kind of investors. So in the 90s, it was the main business, preparing the infrastructure, and when the investor is here, they can start immediately. But this is, of course, not enough nowadays. Since 2010, we combine all of the industrial zones in one project. We started to work with all the schools, professional schools, I mean, in the region, with the universities. We started, it was very tough project because all the things required from the investment 5-6 years ago until now, of course, is the labor force, the qualification. So from that period to now, we have 93 dual system parallels with the schools, and there are around 68 or 69,000 people which are employed in the region for the production. Comparing to Sofia, there are more in Sofia as an absolute number, which is the biggest density for production workers in Bulgaria. Major investors, I see ABB here. We have 2 factories of ABB. We have Lip here with 2,000 people producing refrigerators. We have Sensata. We have many tier 1 suppliers for the company. We, as a developer, our main service or main idea is to develop, to create the ecosystem for these companies, to offer them the plot, the infrastructure, the design, the construction, now also the education and training program. So whenever they started, they will have the qualified people, doesn't matter white or blue collars. But since 2020, we started our next vision. It's 2040. It is how we, as an industrial park, became zero carbon, absolutely carbon neutrality, in order to secure the demand of electricity and also water for the companies in the region.
Emil, the technical part is ready. Tell me what to share. The movie or the presentation?
Maybe just this presentation, the last one.
Okay.
It is just what is our ambitions for the. Maybe just follow the next page. You know now the prices for the electricity for the last year. Since 21 September until today, 22 September, rises 2 to 3 times. For the last month, the Bulgarian market is around 40, between 35 and 55 euro cents per kilowatt, which is for some of the companies, for most of the companies, it's quite a lot. Also, we speak a lot about the gas prices. The futures for the next 2-3 years. The electricity will not go down. Electricity will go up. And all of the companies are looking for what kind of measures to take and ask us what we can offer. So all of the companies now going to us, first, of course, asking people, etc., subcontractors, but most important for them is the electricity. They want stable electricity price and predictable electricity price based on the PPA, Purchase Power Agreement. Now what we started in industrial zone of Rakovsky, we're starting with 10 megawatt photovoltaic plant, which will generate via direct cables. I mean, also the legislation, we need some improvement on the Bulgarian legislation for the renewable, especially especially the direct cable. Of course, the investor could put some photovoltaic on the top, on the roof, but some of them, and even some very large investors we are dealing, they're looking for a more than 100 megawatt connection, and they're looking for 20 years of PPA. So they want the stable price of electricity, and also secure their needs. Just to mention that I'm not sure if maybe some of you know, but there are more than 24,000 megawatts of photovoltaic, which is now waiting in Bulgarian system operator. 24,000. This is enormous. It's a huge capacity looking to go onto the market. Of course, this to be happen, or just partly to be happen, there are requirement for a lot of investment in the Bulgarian electricity infrastructure to take all of these renewables. So as I mentioned, our goal within 2040 is to be completely carbon neutral. This is just part of the strategy. Hydrogen, we have also with Veolia, we have some partnership for the water treatment and for the energy resources. Here you see what is last mile delivery. We attract one company to start production small electrical trucks. It is now it's developing. We have ordered 5,000 pieces from the United States. We start to export first 50 pieces to the States. Now we are going to the IEA show with this truck. Also, we are starting in the region the biggest EV bike factory in Europe. Within 2025, it will produce more than 1 million EV bikes. And also, we're looking for battery plants producers in order to secure these several projects. We are also looking to attract more companies in the EV business. The EV business, it's also another topic. Of course, electric cars, all the infrastructure we have for the electric cars. Now we have more than 250 gigawatt hour battery plants on pipeline. SK, Samsung, whatever, in Nordvolt with Volkswagen. This infrastructure is done. For the next 5 years, the total production will increase double every year. So we will have millions of electric cars. This will require much more electricity. So this is another thing to think all of us for that improvement. So education and qualification, electrical mobility, social entrepreneurship, social services. This we are making because we want to be attractive. We would like to be attractive for the investment, for the foreign direct investment, so we can secure their business in Bulgaria. Not only secure, but help them to grow with creation of all of these services. Innovation, really a lot of projects. This different project, everyone have a project, and we're looking for some financing from the European Union Fund or from the private investment or banking or business partnership. And this is our vision. Thank you so much for the time to share our ideas with you and our experience. And looking forward. And just to mention that yesterday we were in a negotiation with the Romanian company, what Gabriel said about the SINCAR in Giurgiu. We were with the negotiation with the Romanian company, and we're expecting them to start business in Bulgaria in February, March next year. We're almost done with the contract. It's in the steel, it's a metal in the metal business company.
Mm-hmm. Good to know. Thank you for sharing this info with us. And maybe when it will be available for the public, you'll contact us first in order to have a headline for Energynomics, ex-company starting to work in Bulgaria. Thank you very much, Emil Yankov. You said about the gas being on the banned word in Europe because it is bad for the planet. And now it is even worse because we cannot have it at all in some parts of Europe. Okay. And it seems to be the same problem with the hydrogen. You said it may be 10 years before having access to serious resources of hydrogen. How did they manage in Germany? Next year they will have a factory. Where is the hydrogen coming from?
So, at the end of the day, let's think a little bit, who is RWE? So it's a big producer of electricity in Germany. And they have a lot of electricity facility production based on renewables. So let's say that it's the first sign from the private companies, German private companies, that they would like to invest in this field of hydrogen. So they are ready, beside the using of our gas turbine, they will invest in this moment in the hydrogen capacity production. Huge hydrogen
based
capacity
on
production.
Renewables
Because,
and
yes,
water. Okay.
Exactly. Green hydrogen. Let's say green hydrogen. I am not so good friend of such sentence, but let's say like this.
Okay, so they will lose probably extra production.
So the
from
German
renewables.
government is ready to invest a lot of money. So at the end of the day, the money are not coming from the pocket of RWE. Yes, in a small share. The major share of the money is coming from the German government.
Where the hydrogen might be obtained in Bulgaria and Romania. Feasible solution for the next years.
Sincerely, my opinion?
Yes.
Okay, I am not
Or
so
if you
optimistic.
lie, lie.
No.
nicely.
You know that I am very straight, so I am not so optimistic. So let's think for hydrogen, first of all, if we will have some small facility production, in my opinion, I recommend to use this hydrogen in transport, in mobility. This is today, this could be the profitable business of hydrogen production. If you are thinking to burn hydrogen to produce electricity, today the technology didn't arrive at a certain maturity. It's
So
very
transportation.
expensive.
And also that example that you gave us in Japan, a facility installed in a harbor where you have many consumers, many forms of good connections, I suppose, with the various
Exactly.
kind of fuels.
Yes.
That would be.
So Kobe harbor for Japan will be a big hub of hydrogen. But as I told you at the beginning of my presentation, Japan is a country which has not the raw materials, including the fuel sources. So everything is imported by Japan.
And got 70 years to get used to high prices for resources, and they are prepared for
Exactly. So my answer to your question is the following. Think to hydrogen real development for Romania and Bulgaria after 2013.
Okay, just set up our expectations. Mariana, please clarify one idea. You said that the regulation itself incurs losses for the heating companies because of the price they are imposed? Because this is a regulated business, isn't it?
Yes.
And I cannot imagine that a regulated business would be forced into losing money each month.
Imagine either, but the price is fixed, and you need a new decision of the regulator to change this price, because they usually give two prices. One is for the electricity produced from cogeneration by the district heating companies. They are encouraged to produce electricity from cogeneration. This actually amounts to 50% of our revenue in the case of Varna. But at the same time, the spot market and the situation in which Bulgaria is now, that we don't yet have this interconnector with Greece, where we'll get cheaper gas from Azerbaijan, and we have to buy very expensive gas. So this is what it is in the market. And
these are costs that are not recognized in the regulated
at the
tariffs.
moment, no. There is a crisis task force set by the caretaker government, and we are waiting for some kind of a decision to
This is
see what
incredible.
we'll do, because already the loss that we're incurring in September is roughly 1.8 million lev, which is about 900,000 euro, excluding VAT, and this is just for September. We already have some loss previously. Because of this difference, and there should be a meeting of the task force, government crisis task force today.
This is
so
incredibly
it's
crazy,
not just
but we have in
Varna, it's
Romania also
everybody's
such,
like that. All the
situations.
district heating companies in Bulgaria are like
I
that.
understand if it comes
Yeah.
from the regulator. It's also the case in Romania with at least two situations. The distributors of energy are also forced to accept losses,
Yeah.
and there is this new decision. I think it only has 10 days,
Is
2 weeks, with, which forces the traders.
1st of October, it's the EU decision, the European Commission from yesterday, to fix the price at 180 euros.
Yes, yes, and just only hope that something will change. Please, Cristian, you want to add something?
Yes, regarding also to hydrogen. The cheapest hydrogen which could be used today or obtained today is from chemical industry. So in chemical industry which are producing the polyol, for examples, or in the fertilizers plants, the hydrogen is a second product due to the chemical technology used there. So this is also a green hydrogen. And it's a second product which usually is sold to other companies which distribute this hydrogen. So this second product can be used inside of the chemicals plant to produce also electricity and steam.
The byproduct, something that is waste, let's say.
Exactly. So this is the first application, and we have to give to chemicals the best help to do it. This.
I'll move to Emil Yankov. Yankov, and before the question I prepared for you, do you have any companies from the chemical industry under your management in the parks?
Actually, the biggest non-ferrous smelter is located in one of the industrial zone. They're producing zinc, lead, gold, etc. It's a big company with more than 2,000 people. Also, some other in the mentioned in fertilizer, but most of the companies are in the production. We have one very large company in the chemical industry.
Thank you. I have two questions. One is very precisely, but I will start with that. You said about that there is some need to improve legislation in Bulgaria in order to encourage installation of new renewable capacities. Give us one or two examples. What would be the most pressing
Exactly.
issue?
Yes, this is because now in the energy law there is a sentence that you can connect via direct cable other consumers. But when starting to deal with like the local electricity companies or with the national system operator, first we put it is there is there, but there is no way to go there. I mean,
I'm not sure I understand. So in Romania, it's like this: you are the producer, you connect, you are supposed to connect with Transelectrica, with the national grid.
yeah, but in this case, I am producer and you are consumer.
Okay, and in Bulgaria it is not allowed for this direct connection to happen?
There is written in the law, but it's not practically happen actually.
Okay.
If you're an investor, you can put your PV on the top and you can consume the energy.
But I cannot sell it to you, my neighbor nearby?
Yes. This is still need to be improved, and I believe next year this will happen because the market is needed and also the companies is needed.
And there is also this European concept of energy communities. I think that it's supposed to be possible, encouraged to happen something like this for houses, for households. I cannot see what it cannot be possible for companies too. Okay.
Yes, this is the meaning. This kind of communities. It's not yet happening in Bulgaria.
I see. Give us, please, or me at least, some info on how do you manage how is your current approach on energy consumption, energy management in the parks? You as an owner and manager, buy the gas and electricity and then resell it to?
Not yet. Actually, there is a law for the industrial parks, and every park manager could be operator of the park. So if you're operator, you can deliver gas, you can deliver electricity. But at the moment, making our plans for the
that will make you, a supplier of electricity or gas.
Yes, but you became first operator, and then you have this opportunity to deliver gas or electricity. It's still not, we are registered as an operator, but this law also needs some improvement. How we make calculation, of course, we take the energy consumption 1 year before, day by day for these companies, they would like to connect with the photovoltaic. So based on these requirements, based on the demand of electricity, yes, we together we sit on, we agree, maybe 1 megawatt, 1.2 megawatts, so they can cover 60, 70, 80% from the consumption. Of course, they need to take rest 20, 30%, but this 70%, they receive it on a flat.
And they have this information, they have installed sensors, equipments to monitor, I don't know, minutes.
Not really sensors, but when they ask their energy traders, they should provide this information day by day, because they're buying electricity now from this company. So they know exactly every 15 minutes what is the consumption, and day by day they know what is the total consumption.
And they use it in relation to you afterwards. Yep. Okay, thank you. If any questions? I will not insist anymore. I have one or two for Mariana. You talk about 4% share of loss after the intervention in the block of flats in Varna. What was before that share? I don't know, 6, 10, 12, I don't know.
It was about 5 times higher.
5 times higher?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 20.
So, yeah, something like that.
Okay, that's a huge improvement, of course. Because otherwise, I think that the effort and the money is very significant in the trouble for the people in the block of flats, and the costs, I suppose, they are quite significant. And
we covered the cost to the entrance of each flat, and then it was at the expense and responsibility of the owner. Yes, it is a significant investment. But we wanted to show, it was like a showcase to the local government, to the central government, that this kind of investment pays off, and that they should take this in consideration when they're launching such programs for rehabilitation of these buildings at national level. And Sofia, and big city, but mostly Sofia, also Varna and Plovdiv, but Sofia is the only city in Bulgaria which has a lot of these buildings. The majority of people in Sofia live in such flats.
In this pilot, were the people open to this?
Yes,
open to this such intervention?
Yes, it was done together. One of the conditions to launch such a project was that 100% of the owners of the flats in the building, they agree to this project and agree to cooperate, because without the residents, it's impossible. Yeah.
In Romania, you cannot do a thing, because there is always one.
It's the same in Bulgaria. Yeah. But to make it even worse in Bulgaria, for example, the water meters in Romania are read at block level. So 1 meter, one reading, one block of flats. In Bulgaria, every flat is a customer here. So, for example, although Bucharest is a far bigger city, our colleagues in Apanova, Bucharest, the water company serving Bucharest, have less customers than us in Sofia. We have more than 600,000 customers. And it becomes a nightmare when, somebody doesn't want to pay the bill, because the common thing between the water supply to a block of flats and the heating supply is that you cannot disconnect if somebody is paying. You can on paper, but it's just so difficult, and the law, provides this possibility in theory.
It's considered a public service and an essential need. And
it's not just that. If half of the residents are paying, you're penalizing the ones that are paying, and
Yes, you cannot do it.
yeah,
In fact.
yeah. So it's a big issue, but as you said, Gabriel, now it's for me even it's not even about the price of gas and electricity. Generally speaking, it's about whether we have them. And luckily, Bulgaria doesn't produce much any electricity from natural gas. So from this point of view, we are indeed in a very good position, you know, because only 10 to 12% of the industry in Bulgaria uses gas, and it's mostly district heating companies, which is already a service of public interest.
And probably a
you know,
handful
is
of
the
companies,
heating. Yeah.
those mentioned Cristian. One final question for you. You made a comparison in your presentation between the system in Sofia and the system for water treatment in Sofia in Bucharest, and you said that they might be very close as size, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Bucharest is slightly bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
The energy management system for the plant is also introduced in
Yes,
Bucharest?
in all our
With
wastewater treatment plants across Europe, including Central and Eastern Europe, we deploy this cogeneration project using producing biomethane from sludge from the waste. So we have the same system in Bucharest as well.
With the same results in terms of percentage of own
yes,
energy?
yeah, we have a joint approach, and we exchange experience, and if there are technical issues, for example, a few years ago we had an issue during the winter. There was snow in Sofia, and you know they throw chemicals and salt mostly, and it's a mixed system, sewage and rainwater. In Sofia, I guess it's the same in Bucharest, as far as I know. And of course, all these chemicals ended up in the sewage system, and then they ended up in the wastewater treatment system, and then all the bacteria in the cogeneration, in the biomethane, they just went crazy. They started producing foam. So you have this gas facility, which 40% is foam, so the efficiency drops. And it took us about 2 months. We were discussing then with colleagues in Bucharest and colleagues in Hungary, in Budapest. It's like a center of excellence there in Hungary. And finally, we solved this problem, but it cost us, several thousand.
And the next winter is coming.
Lost revenue because we couldn't produce as much electricity, but these all linked issues, and people just don't think about.
And you found a solution for the next winter. Suppose that's happening again.
But no, we spoke to the city of Sofia. So that they are aware that these chemicals, the salt, they also destroys the soil as well. And, they are aware. I remember because I had a 3-year assignment working in Moscow. I know it's not very popular now to speak about Russia, but, it's the city where you have snow, lots of snow, for 6 months of the year. This before global warming, it's, I haven't seen so much snow in my life. And, I don't know what kind of chemicals they were using there, but I know the budget of the city of Moscow is so the annual budget of the city of Sofia for the winter maintenance is 1 day budget of the city of Moscow. You can imagine how big it is. But I had to change my winter shoes every year, because after 3 months of walking in the snow with all these chemicals, they were completely destroyed. They were shrinking, and I'm talking about nice leather, boots, expensive Italian. So I started paying less expensive, I found out that you can buy some kind of special protection shoes. And then I was speaking to our driver, and he said the cars, the underneath the car, the cars are damaged within 2 to 3 months. So this is a big issue, and people don't think about this too often. But everything is interlinked.
Thank you for the story. One final moment for a question from you. If not, one question from me for all of you. Maybe a short comment. what stops us for having projects like those we saw in Japan or in various parts of the world happening faster, more of them in Romania and Bulgaria? Maybe one or two causes or something that we can do in order to have many such projects implemented here.
Industry.
There is not enough industry
Yep,
to ask for such projects.
absolutely.
Okay.
Not enough turnover, GDP per capita, etc. This is, on my opinion, the
To smaller markets.
yeah.
Let's see for having. Other opinion or the same?
I think that the regulation is, and all the new regulation which will be set by the European Union in response of the ongoing crisis right now, which is linked to both climate change and to this energy crisis, it will just accelerate and make people more open-minded to such projects, because it's not just because their value will be dropping, the value for implementation, because when you have a large scale, but there will be more demand. And I think that the institutions like the European Commission should be driving this and pushing towards us, because we are overusing resources in every aspect, in our daily life, in industry, and it's so clear to everybody, especially the younger generation, that we cannot continue like that. So if there is a silver lining, as they say in England, in this crisis, is that people are totally rethinking what they can recycle, including clothes, for example. You don't throw your clothes or shoes like that, you can repair. You can give to your cousins, if they're the same size, but just to reuse over and over, because we have to be conscientious of the fact of what every activity of our personal life and our work life has on the environment. I mean, simple things like whether you stop the water tap when you're brushing your teeth, because 6 liters of water is every second is being wasted. We, explain this to children in the kindergarten so they can go and then have a go at their parents why they don't stop the water. And small things like that, they make
Can
an
make
impact.
a change,
but
yes.
it depends on each one of us. It's not, it's not just to say, okay, it's not my problem.
Okay. So if the market forces are not influencing positively such evolution, maybe a current a conscious decision from people and from governments to change the things. Yes. Cristian, maybe a short comment on this.
Yes. The problem is coming from the political decision makers. Why? As my colleague told me, it's a lack of industry. Okay, but why it's a lack of industry? Because all the financial mechanisms which are coming from EU as grants can be used based on a certain type of plans made by political decision makers. So our political decision makers, I don't know how it is in Bulgaria, but I smell that it's quite similar as Romania. Our political decision makers are not interested to discuss with the industrial sector. A country cannot survive based on the service. We are not Switzerland, my dear. We cannot survive only based on the tourism. We need industry. And thanks God, Romania and also Bulgaria had a lot of industries in the past.
Okay, so the solution would be much focus.
You're right, but the financial mechanism which are coming in these countries based on the plans made by the political decision makers limit the solutions. So guide the solutions to a certain type of energy solution. For example, we give the money for PVs. I come back what I highlighted during my presentation, how you can produce 300 ton per hour of steam with PVs.
In Romania, we already have a scheme for cogeneration. It is supposed, that is the answer for the politician. They say the PV solar is one scheme of grants. You have another dedicated for cogeneration.
Yes, let's look in our national plan for recovery and resilience. What is created inside for cogeneration? First of all, the cogeneration which is inside today in this plan is created only for public administration, so for district heating, nothing for the industrial sector. Nothing, zero. If we are talking about energy efficiency, which is also in our plan, so they gave peanuts as money for energy efficiency, 1,200,000. So it's peanuts.